Remember when I said I'd follow that meat van? Well, I did. And to Reds and Greens Butcher Shop, the segue for the 2 cows we saw at the abattoir. The first thing you notice about the proprietress and owner is her command presence. This tight ship is run by Isioma Emina, whose passion is driven by a yearning to supply every customer with beautiful quality and sometimes bespoke meat and seafood. And there's a long list. So bandana in place, I was excited to meet her. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having us today. I'm at Reds and Greens. This is an amazing butchery here in Lagos. And I'm with Isioma Emina. She's the proprietress and the owner of this amazing establishment. I've eaten some of their meat and I'm telling you, it's good.
Amazing. Yeah.
One thing I love about this place is how you've got this open window policy here. Tell me why you did that.
I think having people trust what they are eating makes it easier for them to, go all out and buy what they need. So trust me, is a marketing gimmick.
I love that. I love being able to see how my food is being processed, and everything in here is 100% clean and hygienic. It's actually getting me a little bit excited about maybe trying some of this meat myself today.
Yep, we
Okay.
have more than enough for you.
Ah, it's fantastic. So everybody knows that we went to the abattoir and we saw those 2 poor cows getting slaughtered. It's part of life, it's part of eating, and this is just the next step in the process.
Yep.
So here at Reds and Greens, they received the 2 cows, and I just want to ask you, what happens to them when they arrive here?
Okay, so once we bring them in, the first thing we do is hang up and let the meat naturally, the carcass naturally drain water. That way, the tenderizing process continues and makes our meat a bit more tender than what you get in the open market. Okay, so I'll just take you through our walking chiller
Sure.
to show you how we hang the meat,
All right?
so that you have first-hand experience of how it works.
Okay, sure. So in the chiller room, you can probably see parts of the cow which we saw being processed at the abattoir. The meat is being slowly aged by hanging and is kept fresh in this very cold space. There is some of the cow stomach and also some oxtail that I want at the back. The first thing that I'm realizing in here is that it's absolutely freezing. Look, everybody. See the steam coming off my breath? I feel like I'm in Europe somewhere. I'm freezing. So this is some of the meat.
Yeah, part of the meat. This is the 4 quarters.
Wow.
The shoulder part and above. So once we bring it in, we I won't call it aging per se, but we just hang it up so that the water drains.
And it's very hard
It's
right
very
now.
hard,
Is that
yes.
because it's freezing?
It's freezing,
Yeah.
yes, it's freezing. So, but the cold maintains the freshness of the beef, because once you bring it out from the chiller to process, it becomes good as fresh.
Wow.
You can get here.
Okay.
So once we bring it in here, we hang it for minimum 24 hours. We take it out, then we work on it. Then all the bones end up here.
Ah, here are the
Yeah.
bones.
All the bones
My
end up here.
goodness. All right, and these have all been really well scraped.
Scraped, yes, well
Yeah.
scraped. So from here we take it to farms who now burn the bones to turn it into, mix it into the feed that goes back into nutrition for the animals.
See, so everything just
Goes
turns
down.
full
Exactly.
circle. I like that.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
efficient.
So there's almost nothing that is wasted.
That's beautiful.
Yes,
I love that.
process, yes.
What's going on over here? Should we walk down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What happens here is when we cut up the meat, we bag them so as to prevent the freezer burn, so that it can maintain the freshness inside vacuum sealed packs.
And what's this? Is this a
This
goat?
This is a goat, yes.
It's a goat.
This is a skinless goat.
Wow.
For people
Look
who
at that.
are health conscious.
Sure.
It's actually healthier than eating the goat with the skin. This is the one that has the skin. Then
see.
this is ram.
Oh, wow, look
Yeah.
at that.
This is ram. Yeah.
And then we've got a lot of skins
Skin, yes.
here.
Animal hide, yes.
And what
Skin,
about,
yes.
what's going on here?
These are like
Different cuts of
different
meat.
cuts that we also try to age, and once we age it, we grind it, and people who make sausages come pick it up for sausages.
I
Yes,
see.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get out of
Yeah,
here, girl. It's
cold.
freezing. So I'm still feeling the chill from that place over there. Actually,
it's really cold.
it's a good way. Maybe I need to come into your shop whenever I'm feeling the Lagos heat.
When there's no light.
You know, when there's no light, I'll just be hanging around at Reds and Greens all the
We'll
time.
gladly hang you up.
Now, I have had this before, and I think it's lamb shank.
Yes, ma'am.
And I see that they are dressing them.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, for those of us who don't know what that means or why it's being done, maybe you could just tell us.
Okay, there's a layer over the skin that actually makes it a bit tough when you cook it. So what we try to do is to ease the cooking process for the end user. So we trim off the tendons that cover the part of the meat.
Right.
Then for finesse and aesthetics look, we shave off the meat, so that gives it that good plating experience. When,
Yes, and that
when
little
consumer-
lollipop of
exactly,
meat
yes,
looking
exactly,
thing,
that's
yes.
how-
That's amazing. And
So
now look at
once
those
we-
knives, they are
Yeah,
sharp.
very sharp. So once we cut off the excess, the meat at the tip of the bones, we use that meat and we can turn it into little cubes, cut cubes for people who want
For
to make
stew.
lamb curries and
Oh,
stews. Yes.
That's amazing. I love this.
These are pictures of some of the lollipop lamb shanks, which were finessed especially for me a few months ago, and this is what I created.
And what do we have here? What's this? Is that
That's-
the full
that's ram.
That's
This
a
is
ram.
Ram leg, the leg of a ram or shoulder. I think it's the shoulder of the ram.
Flip that over
Turn
for
it,
us so
flip
we
it
can
over.
have a look. Look at all that meat.
And marbling. All
I
the
love
fat
that.
and all that.
Now
Yes,
marbling, I keep hearing that, and I know that the more little minute fat content there is,
yeah.
the better flavor you have running
Exactly.
through the meat. So
And
we want to
tenderness
see
as well.
marbling really in our meat, don't we?
Yes, for some people, but you also have school of thought who don't want to see any marbling because the understanding is that those ones are much leaner than this one.
That's right. But if you know, you're not going to eat this every day,
No.
so indulge.
Indulge.
Okay, so let's keep it rolling.
Okay.
So I see you have another rack here. It almost looks like a swing set. So the meat comes and it hangs on those hooks.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And once they hang them, the butchers break them down on this hanger. Then we bag them into individual bags, which are the bags you saw inside
In there.
the cold room. Yes.
Okay, so
then we
the-
label them and store them. So as customers request for specific parts, we'll bring it out and we sell it from there.
Amazing. Okay, let's keep going.
This space has a disciplined silence as the butchers hone their craft, except for the constant whir of the meat bandsaw. Clad in smart black uniforms, the operator of this machine can't afford any distraction. You can see how sharp these blades are, cutting bone and flesh alike. Even this huge turkey slices in half like butter to a knife.
Okay, so these are vacuum sealers. Vacuum sealers have been known to preserve the quality of meat.
And here you
Longer,
can see.
exactly. This is-
And when they say vacuum seal, that means that it sucks all the air out,
Yes.
and you're left with a very neat packet of meat.
Okay, so these are ready to be shipped off to a customer.
I wish they were ready to be shipped off to me, but there they are. And this is the vacuum packer.
A bigger one. This one is smaller than this one.
So let's come and have a look at what's going on here. All the air is being sucked out of this. So that's ready.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, on a cow, what is the sort of the most tender part of the cow?
Oh, that's the tenderloin.
The tenderloin. And where is that on a cow?
It's between the leg and the ribs. It's embedded inside inside the animal. So you have to break down the animal to be able to bring it out. So it's not external. It's really inside.
I'm very interested in the oxtail today,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to cook in the kitchen.
No problem. We'll make your dreams come true.
Oh, that's wonderful. I saw one at the abattoir and I thought, that's mine. I'm following that one wherever it's going.
We kept it for
Yeah.
you.
The reason why I like the oxtail is because it's very flavorsome and it's a cheaper cut than some of the other parts of the cow.
Not it's necessarily not a cheaper part actually.
Oh,
The
really?
demand for it is quite high.
Now?
Yeah, so because you also have just one tail in one cow.
Yes, so
you
everyone's
have
fighting
to-
for that
yeah,
tail.
So you have to almost on a daily basis go to the market and look for how you can mop up as much as you can.
I see, because
Yes.
back in the day, the tail was sort of like, oh, it's the tail. But now
More and
everybody
more
sort of
people,
wants
yes.
it.
And because here now what we also do, we break it down, we strip it of the skin. So more and more people are also wanting the skinless version.
I
So
see.
we also have the skinless version available.
Do you do any developing of flavors and packaging? Do you have any special sauces or any seasonings that you're developing at Reds and Greens yet?
Not yet, but it's in the plan.
That's
But what
fantastic.
we also want to do, because we want to focus on what we know how to do best, which is cutting up meat. So we're trying to partner with chefs and see how they can give us pre-meat mixes so that we can have that available for customers when they come, and we just educate you on how to rub it in and just toss it straight into
I
your oven.
love that, a dry rub. I love a good
Yeah.
dry rub. And I've got a few up my sleeve too, so maybe
Okay,
you
good.
and
We
I
can
can.
talk together.
Yes,
Everything
I
is
love
possible.
that.
Mhm.
So Isioma, this has been amazing seeing all this going on here.
Thank you.
I feel a lot safer about what I'm eating because I can see the process. It's been fantastic. Now I have to ask you, that oxtail that I was after,
I can't
have you
get
kept
past
it
that
for
one.
me?
Yes, I have, and you better identify it.
I will.
Mohammed, help me bring that oxtail.
Uh-huh. Here's the oxtail. I recognize it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did you mark it?
I think I did secretly. So I'd love to take this home,
Okay.
but cut up into
Into
stewing chunks.
Okay.
Can I actually see that happening?
Oh yes, you can.
Amazing.
Mohammed, go ahead with our process. Just weigh it first, and
My prized oxtail was weighed and then bandsawed into pieces.
you better invite me for dinner.
I will. Look. I'll invite you. But you better come quick. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Amazing. That's the beauty of this machine.
I'm cringing actually because of his fingers, but I know he's been doing this for a long time, so I don't have to fear. He's fast too.
Yep. Okay, so vacuum seal it. Let's vacuum seal it.
Oh, great. I'm going to be able to see the vacuum seal process going on.
Yes, ma'am.
This is beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah. And it's cleaned very well.
Look
They did
at
a
that.
good job cleaning it. Yep.
Gorgeous. I'm salivating. Mwah.
Then it was bagged up,
Sealing bags that we buy for the vacuum sealer.
and after vacuum sealing, presented with great kindness to me.
That's mine, folks.
On behalf of Reds and Greens, Mohammed, you want to do the honors?
Thank you, Mohammed, so much. Thank you for having me. And thank you, cow, for dying for the sake of our tummies. We love Reds and Greens.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So you see what happens when you simply get the equation right? A group of Nigerians who are contributing to a growing breed of quality, passion-driven business. What a cool experience I've had. Literally. And see happy people. Next, I'll be in the kitchen putting that oxtail in my pot.
Some of the best times I had as a child were spent with my grandmother in her kitchen. She was an incredible person and a really amazing cook. She used to allow me to come in and watch her cook, and I loved that. I'd watch her every move, and I remember everything as if it just happened yesterday. So today, I'm really excited to make one of her Caribbean dishes for you. It's called oxtail in a cast iron pot. So let's get started with this incredible dish. I'm using oxtail today. Here it is. This has been chopped up by the butcher. And you may ask, why am I using oxtail when I have the choice of the whole cow? Number one, I love oxtail. And two, it just makes better economic sense. These cuts are a lot cheaper in the market to buy, and my butcher has chopped this up real good for me. Now let's look at the other ingredients. The seasonings for this dish are cornstarch, tomato paste, adobo seasoning, curry powder, chili, thyme, and coconut milk.
Now, before you saw in my cast iron pot a coconut, my grandmother would have cut this up, shredded it. Well, I would have put it in the blender, but she would have laboriously shredded it on a grater, added water to that, squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and out would come what I bought in a can. So I'm not going through all that trouble today, but I'm going to use coconut milk from a can. The other ingredients I have here are onions, garlic, carrots, leeks, which are actually grown here in Nigeria, and celery, also locally grown. I've got some beautiful yellow peppers for color. I always like my dishes to have some color in them. And I've got the humble plantain. These are semi-ripe, and I'm actually going to chop these up in chunks, and they're going to be sort of the bulk inside the stew. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is how I'm going to cook the meat. Now, everybody knows that oxtail is tough, and I'm going to use the conventional method of a pressure cooker. Now, how this works is it's sealed with rubber here, so it's airtight. You put a little bit of water in here with your oxtail and the other seasonings that you're going to use, which I'll show you, and you close this up firmly. This little thing goes on top, and it goes on the fire. And after about 15 minutes or so, it'll start shh, 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 and then you know that the cooking is happening. And in another 20 minutes or so, you've got an oxtail that is no longer like a piece of leather, but is now something a bit more succulent and ready to go on to the next stage of cooking. In this, the cast iron pot. Now, every good West Indian lady has a cast iron pot, and these things are handed down generation after generation. So this one actually is my mum's, and I'm hoping that she's going to hand this over to me. So this has seen a lot of love. So we're going to do convention and nostalgia. A beautiful marriage.
Peel your onions. I've used 2 medium-sized and chop them up in a rough dice. Put these aside in your mise en place space. We're going to do the same large rustic cut to the carrots. These big beautiful yellow peppers need to be cut into big chunks. Everything about this dish is bold, the textures and the flavors alike. When using leeks, it's important to wash them thoroughly to remove all the grit from the soil they've been embedded in. Give these a chop. And do the same with your garlic and your celery. Use the leaves too, it's okay. Top and tail the plantain. And cut into big mouthfuls. I think we're ready now. Everything in place. The meat has been simmering for about 30 minutes with thyme and a little adobo. I'm removing the cover safely by reducing the pressure with running water. And here's your result.
This smell is all over the house at the moment. So now it's time to do step 2, which is prepare all the accoutrements for the dish. I'm putting in some vegetable oil, and then I'm going to start adding the other ingredients one by one.
Onions in first and stir.
Give that a tiny stir around. Lovely. It's splattering, but don't worry about that. And now the leeks and the garlic. Starting to smell really excellent.
We're not actually trying to brown everything off, but what we are trying to do is to just give them a tiny little bit of a translucence.
Put in your carrots, the peppers and celery, but keep a bit back for later. And the plantain.
Look at that color. Lovely. It's kind of making a nice sort of mattress for the meat.
Now add your meat. And stir.
Ah, that's looking gorgeous.
Now add the meat juices.
All of it. Making sure we get all the good bits at the bottom. Cover it over with foil. And we'll put it in the oven. Whoa, that's hot. And goodbye. Time to pull out that newspaper and read it from front to back. Okay, I've taken this out of the oven. It's very hot, but it looks incredible. And I'm going to just finish it off on top of the stove. It's been in the oven about an hour and a half, which is a long cook. And come a little closer, let's have a look and see. Our good old plantain is still nice and firm, but it's taken on that beautiful yellow ochre color. And you can see the liquid is still quite liquid. So what we're going to do is add in the rest of our ingredients. The coconut milk I talked about for the Caribbean feel. Look at that. Just going to mix that in gently.
And some cornstarch to thicken. Now add those peppers left over for texture. And sprinkle in the rest of the celery. See how it's thickened up nicely? Tasting time.
Just look at that. Unctuous stew. Beautiful big chunks of oxtail. Colorful vegetables. And that lovely sauce. You know, you can eat this with rice. You can eat this with yam. But I'm gonna have it just like this. Delightful. Grandma, this is for you.
Now let's see.
So good.
From my heart to your plate. Next time on Food Journey, we're doing something different with something familiar. See you there!